Hello parents, this is Chris Allen here. I am your son or daughter's calculus teacher, and I wanted to give you an update for the week of October 5. So today, or this week, we are looking at section 2.5, which is on something called implicit differentiation. And I'd like to show you a quick example of that. So if we had an equation 4xy minus 6y squared equals 10, and I want to, find the equation of the tangent line. I want to find the derivative of this function. And actually, I need to be careful. This is the whole point. This is actually not even a function. We cannot write it explicitly. It has to be written implicitly. But the good news is we can actually go ahead and find the derivative. And so here's how we're going to do that. We're going to differentiate both sides with respect to x. So I have that noted here. So notice I have d dx of the left side of the equation and d dx of the right side of the equation. And the key thing here is, first of all, we're going to make sure we don't neglect things that we've done in the past, like the product rule. But we're going to need the chain rule to deal with these y variables. So to do the derivative of 4x times y, we have to use the product rule, which is 1d2 plus 2d1. So we have to do the derivative of 4x times y plus the derivative of y times 4x. And then after we do that, we will get the following. We'll get 4y plus 4x dy dx. So we utilize the chain rule on that y derivative. The derivative of y, or d dx of y, is dy dx. Now the next term there, negative 6y squared, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use our generalized power rule, but we also have to do the chain rule because the variable here is not in terms of x, it's in terms of y. So we will get negative 12y, and then we have to do the derivative of y with respect to x, which is simply dy dx. And then last but not least, we need to do the derivative of 10 with respect to x, which of course is 0. So this gives us our equation for the derivative, and it's still written implicitly, but now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and solve that for dy dx. So each time an expression has a y in it, you have to use the chain rule. So that's why these dy dx's are popping up. So our equation from the previous slide, we're going to solve it for dy dx, and I've got this animated the rest of the way out. So we simply gather all the dyx dy terms on one side, get everything else on the other. Then we're going to use the distributive property to pull out the 12y minus 4x, and then of course we can divide. So our final answer here for the derivative is dy dx equals 4x over 12y minus 4x. Of course that could be reduced. We could pull out a factor of 4, but I'm going to stop there. All right, so final comments for this week's lesson, or this week's overview. E of Q, so end of quarter. The end of quarter is this Friday, October 9th. I've reminded you this the last 2 weeks, and I've reminded the students. All missing work, etc., needs to be turned in before Friday. Friday, I will spend only time grading, hopefully, things that have been turned in and grading the homework that's due Friday. Also, I would like to mention that we have a new bell schedule that will begin on October 19th, which is the Monday we come back from fall break. That bell schedule has been shared on Canvas with your son or daughter so they can see that there. Essentially, we're going to see all 7 periods in one day instead of doing the block schedule that we've been doing. And finally, I would encourage that if you get some time off, and particularly if your son or daughter has the week off and they don't have to work and things like that, that they just take time for themselves and relax and try to get recharged for the second 9 weeks, which will begin on October 19th. Thank you very much for your time and watching this video.